what do you do when you've got lots and lots of ideas and you've got some pens and you've got some colours? Well, you doodle, of course, and you play, and then you put ideas together, and who knows what will happen. Hello, and a very warm welcome to Friday Art with me, Kate Field. I release art tutorials every Monday and Friday, and I am delighted that you are joining me today. I really do hope you're going to enjoy this one. Just play with lots and lots of colours and make a mess if you need to. Are you ready? Let's go. Well, I do hope you are well. In this tutorial, I'm going to be using some broad markers by Edding, and I'm going to be using Meeden acrylic markers. You could use felt tip pens, you could use your own favourite brand. I will put a link to everything that I use if you want to check them out. I do have a code for Meeden. If you just put in Cate, you will get a 10% discount, which is rather nice. But you don't feel that you have to. If you've got your own lovely colours, then you dive in. I'm going to be working in my sketchbook. This is where I play around with ideas when I'm trying out thoughts. I've got an idea of something that I want to do, and I just want to see what it might look like on a smaller scale. All of my larger paintings start off as a little doodle somewhere in a sketchbook. The first thing that I'm going to do is to narrow my choice of colours, because the problem is when you have lovely pens like these, it can all get a little bit overwhelming. So I am absolutely going to limit my colours, and I'm going to limit them to green, yellow, a kind of a turquoisey blue. They're going to be my three main colours, and then I'm going to introduce pink, obviously, because I like pink. But that's it. I'm not going to do hundreds of colours. Now, sometimes I do, because I do like a bit of colour. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off by dividing up the page. I am using a mixed media sketchbook. This is 230 gram paper. It will take watercolour, it will take acrylic. Make sure that you're using the right paper for your tools. And if you're not sure, then experiment. Buy small packages of paper, small sketchbooks, and try them out. It's the only way that we learn. So that's the art class for today. I am going to divide up my space into rectangles and squares, and within each of these spaces I'm going to do a design. You could do this with a pencil. I've just done it in green so that you can see what I'm doing. Green is going to be one of my dominant colours, so that's going to be helpful. Now, the other thing that I quite like to use is an ordinary geometry stencil with circles, but often I will just do everything freehand, and that's what I'm going to do for this one. But you feel free to adapt whatever you want. We're going to start off by doing some background colours. The temptation is to dive in with patterns. Try to resist that temptation. This is why I like the broad pens, because you can cover a wide space. So I'm just going to block this bit out, just do some strokes, give it a good shake, get the paint going. Remember that acrylic markers have paint inside them, and that means that you do need to give them a bit of a shake. But a couple of coats and you get a nice coverage. Ooh, the hair, where that came from. Keeping with this pen, I'm going to do another bit of broad shape. All of this is background. So, and this pen is running out, actually. I use it quite a lot. You could use a paintbrush and acrylic paints. You could use watercolours for these as well. You know, there's all sorts of things that you can use to kind of adapt all of the things that I might be teaching you. Feel free to do your own thing. That's what I encourage my students to do. I will give them some techniques and some ideas, and then I let them run. And that's what I'm going to suggest that you do as well. So I'm going to put, so because I want a continuity of colour and ideas, I'm going to put this turquoisey blue in all of these shapes. Somewhere in the shape there's going to be this blue, and you'll see how it works when we get to the end. Don't think about it too much, just put in a block of colour. You could use felt tip pens. If you're trying out ideas, felt tip pens are a really cheap, inexpensive way to try out a composition idea, but it's more difficult to do a design over the top of with felt tip pens. Again, I would encourage you to have a bit of a play and see what happens. Let's just do a triangle. This pen is really running out and I absolutely love it, so I'm definitely going to have to order another one. Let's do that. Or I might pop down to my art shop because they've got a lovely collection at the moment. So that's my turquoisey blue done. I'm now going to go in with the green, give it a good shake, and start blocking off some of the other shapes. This one is quite new, so there's quite a lot still in this one. Again, I'm not doing any patterns, still working on the background. You could also use Sharpie pens. You can get some broad Sharpie pens which are lovely. As always, use what you've got in the cupboard and see how that works, because it might be absolutely perfect. You could also use alcohol markers. So in my last tutorial, last week, I think it was last week, I was using alcohol markers, which are just lovely. You do have to use different sort of paper for it to work. They will work on watercolour paper, but they work so much better on paper that has gloss. So if you haven't seen that tutorial where I use alcohol markers, you might want to check that out. There we go. I have put all of my tutorials into playlists, but there's a lot of them now, so I think I might need to organise them a little bit better. There we go. So it's all looking a mess, which is what I would expect at this moment in the class. Things are going to look messy. Let's go in with some of this kind of orangey yellow, which is lovely actually. I'm going to put in another broad stroke. This is a new pen as well. I want to cover a lot of space. If the marker is looking a little bit patchy, like that green, just wait for it to dry and then go over it again. It will be fine. So I'm keeping the colours consistent in all of these designs because I want to just try out a few experiments before I commit anything to canvas. There we go. Putting those in. You can see I'm just doing shapes, very, very simple geometric shapes. This whole thing is going to be simple geometric shapes. It's nothing complicated in this. It's a very good way to practice your fine motor skills, and when you're trying a new product, it's always good fun. So I am going to leave those to completely dry. They won't take very long. I'm going to go over with another coat so they're nice and block solid colour. So these are all nice and dry. I did another couple of coats. So what I want to do now is to introduce pink. Now, when I use colours where I've got a lot of different sorts of colours and I need to remember what I'm doing, I have a little kind of crib sheet here which tells me all the different colours of the pinks. These are in the Meeden acrylic markers, which I do like. And I'm thinking that I want to do the number 9 pink. So I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to give this a good shake. And so these have got a lovely soft brush. So you can't do fine details, but obviously you can do more details than with the broad markers. So I'm not doing details at the moment. I'm still kind of putting in some block colours. But I do like these pens. I've started using them fairly recently, and I have been very impressed with them. You can also use them on canvas. So what I'm going to do is put bits of pink into each of these designs. So there's going to be a cohesion with these. And whenever I'm painting, when I'm painting on canvas, I very rarely just do one. I will generally do a collection. And when I'm exhibiting in a gallery and things like that, galleries like collections. So I will do a collection, and collectors like collections as well. So I have a few people who like my work and will collect it, which is very nice. And if you can build up a collection, it really helps you as an artist. And even if you don't think of yourself as an artist, or you're just a student, or you're just trying out stuff and you're just playing, which is absolutely fine, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you can sort of build ideas of collections in your mind and in your sketchbook, it will really help you. It will help you with composition, it will help you with colour theory, and it will help you with your technique. So I would strongly suggest that you give it a go and see what happens. And it's going to be lovely in like an art journal, or if you do greetings cards, that kind of thing, because then you can start to develop your own style over time. And this is one of the reasons that I say many times to my students is I am giving you ideas and techniques. What you then do with them is entirely up to you. You can take my ideas and you can completely ignore them, and that is fine. But we need to understand our materials. It's really important, and the only way you're going to learn about your media, learn about your materials, is through play and experimentation. And this is one of the things that you could do if you like. As always, I would love to know your thoughts. What are you up to? What are you doing? Haven't had a weather update. It's a little bit cloudy here. We haven't had any rain yet, but it is a little bit cloudy. So everyone's getting a little bit excited about it being quite cloudy, which is quite funny. So that's our next bit. Now, on some of these, I am going to leave white. Some I haven't. And that's fine. That's kind of where I was going with this. Now, I am going to come back to this, but I just want to go back to something that when I was playing around with an idea of what I wanted to do today. And I thought, I want to show you how I build up ideas, because that's how you could build up ideas as well. So divided up the page. I'm playing around with this. It's at the messy stage. I am going to work on that. Start to put in shapes. That's another way that you could really look at how you could build up a composition. So with these ones, I started by putting in the blocks. With these, started putting in some shapes. They're still quite big shapes. I'm now going to go in with my lime green. Let's just check that one. Yeah, that's the one that I wanted. I haven't done a green. I need to do that really, don't I? So that's 82. I will do that. So that is all ready. I like pink and green together. Pink and green are complementary colours, which means they are opposite each other on the colour wheel. I'll get my colour wheel in a minute and show you. When we work with complementary colours, you can get some very interesting combinations. Let me just grab my colour wheel. Here we are. So when I'm teaching the little ones, I talk about warm colours and cool colours, sort of the orange, reds and yellows, and then the purples, blues and greens. Complementary colours are the ones that are opposite each other. So when we're looking at green and pink, we can see that that's where the opposite bits are. Blue and orange, you can see they are opposite. When the colours are together, it's called analogous colours, and when they're opposite, they're complementary. So that's your little bit of colour theory for the day. It's important, actually. Colour theory is important. But again, I teach colour theory through doing and through experimentation. So I'm going to put in a few more here, like this. When you're using acrylic markers, try not to go backwards and forwards across the page because the paper won't like it. Just do one stroke and then another stroke. Then you'll get a good sort of even distribution of the paint. You always remember that there is paint inside it. And then you can go, if it's a bit too stripy, just go over it and give it a good shake. Someone very kindly reminded me that I needed to do that in a tutorial, and she was absolutely right. So if that was you, thank you. I did need a reminder. I'm going to go for a smaller turquoise. I'm going to write this one down as I go. Let's just put that one in. That is a lovely turquoise, and it is very similar to this one. It's not identical, but it is quite similar. I forgot what it was, 43. And all of these get put in another little book that I can then refer to. So what I want to do a block here, like a kind of a teardrop shape. Just play around with shapes. You could use strict geometric shapes, squares, rectangles, circles. Get a stencil, like this mathematical stencil. I use those a lot in my work. But this is going to be a little bit more organic, so a bit more just freehand. Very good for practicing your fine motor skills. So when I'm teaching the little ones, we do things like that, so that they can practice using these tools. It's very good. So some of these I'm going to leave some white space, and some I'm going to colour in completely. There we go. If you would like to show your work, you could come and join the Facebook groups. We have two. We have Friday Art and Doodle Club for anybody and everyone, for beginners, for people who are just starting out, for people who are really experienced and just want to share what they're doing. A very, very friendly, joyful place. It's utterly joyful. It's just wow. Please, please, please answer the questions. I have had to decline a few people this last week, not because I didn't like you, but because you didn't answer the question. Please answer the questions and then I can let you in. So try again. So if that was you and you just missed the questions, answer the questions, agree to the group rules, and we can let you in. Yay! Be really good. The other group is... What's the other group? Open Studio. I got momentarily distracted then. Open Studio, which is for anyone doing any of my courses. So I do courses in real life. I also do courses here on YouTube and on my Patreon, which I'll talk to you about a little bit later. Okay, we're going to go back to this one and I'm going to show you some of the ideas that we can do on here. So let's start doing some more decorations on this. With acrylic markers, you can paint over the top of something that you've already done in a way that you really can't do with a felt tip pen. And it's always easier to go dark over light, but you can do light over dark, as I'll show you in just a moment. So I'm just putting in some just sort of arcs, really sort of semicircle type lines. Just wanted to do that to see what that would look like. Let's do another circle in there. Remembering the colours that I've been using. And let's just go in with this one, I think. I think this could be fun. I'm going to go over the top of this and just do like a wiggly line. Just some wiggly lines and see what they look like. Quite liking those. Like that. And now I will start to do different things in the different shapes that I've got in those different frames, because this is where I'm playing and experimenting, and what happens if, one of those sorts of conversations. And they're the sorts of conversations that I love having with my students when they say, or they come to me and go, what would happen if I did this? And I go, yes, try it and see. And then they'll go, yes, but what if it goes wrong? Ah, yeah, but that is the nature of an experiment. Because even if it goes wrong, in inverted commas, you have learnt something. And that's what you put in your sketchbook. Ah, yes, don't do that. That did not work. With these broad markers, you can make some great marks. And I'm going to do those here. You just push down. And say the yellow on top of the blue is never going to be brilliant. And if I wanted to be more yellow, I can go over the top of it again. But it gives some nice shapes. And it's a little bit more subtle than just the sort of bright orangey yellow on its own. Another idea. Let's do the turquoise. Give that one a bit of a shake over the top. See, the darker colours over lighter colours will always come out better. But we can just, see how that works, and whether that's something that you could like. You could also introduce a completely different colour now and just kind of see what that would look like. I'll do an example. Let's introduce purple. Let's put in purple. I do love this purple, I must admit. Let's just put in an arc like this, another semicircle. You see it covers really well. And you can then just sort of, as I say, play with it. Let's turn that into a kind of a flower type pattern. Really resist going in with a pencil. Just go straight in with pen. Be bold. Be bold, little students, and play. So you can have these sort of ideas on top, which I think work really well. Quite liking that purple, actually. I think I'm going to use this colour again. I think I'm going to do it in this white bit, actually. I'm not sure that white bit's really doing very much. Let's just fill it in with purple. It's a brilliant way to try out new colours, to just see what would happen. What would happen if I did that? You might have some favourite Zentangle pattern type things that you think, oh, I could try that. That could be fun. You could write text and words, all sorts of things that we can do when we're in our sketchbooks and we have that freedom to play, because it is so important. I know I talk about it a lot, and I talk about it all the time in my classes. The whole essence of play when we're learning is essential. I'm going to put this pink over the top. I am going to need another couple of coats. We'll give it a good shake though. And we could have another flower here. I might leave the green showing underneath, or I might shade that in. Again, it's another option that you could do. Let's do another one over here and see how that works. I'm going to have another little play. I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to go back to these ones as well. And we'll see how we get on. And then I'm going to tell you about my Patreon courses. I'm just adding a few more ideas to these ones. I'm going to do a little bit more on this. Quite like that purple. So I've got my little sheet here. So the darker purple is this one. So I'm going to add some purple to this just to see what happens really. Taking some of the outlines of the shapes that I've already done. You could use a ruler for this. That was a bit wobbly, wasn't it? But yeah, wobbly can be quite good. Please don't worry about making a mistake. We have to make mistakes when we create art because it's the only way that we learn. As children, we learn through play, and that doesn't change as we get older. We just sometimes forget how to do it, which is a bit sad, isn't it? Anyway, talking about play. Yes, segueing neatly. On my Patreon, I have got several courses. I say it's quite new, my Patreon. I'm still kind of populating it really, but I've been a teacher for a very long time, and I thought I could help other people who maybe never got a chance to go to art school, or never did art at school, or did do art at school but were told by a teacher that they were no good, and so they gave up. Had lots of stories like that. So I have the Creative Reset, which is if you've been away from art for a while and you just want to, I need to get back into it again. It's a 14-day reset. You could have a go with that. I've got Wild Marks and Wandering Lines, which is all about mark making and how to use things like chalk and charcoal and pencil, graphite and things like that. And then I've got Creative Mixed Media, which is proving to be a very popular course. People seem to be enjoying that one. I do a lot of creative mixed media in my real life courses. I've done a few of those. People have enjoyed those very much, so that's good. You might like to check that one out. What else have I got? Nature's Brushstrokes. So Nature's Brushstrokes is a course that I created about 18 months ago now, and I did it as part of a real life course, and I thought I will put this as an online course, and people have quite liked it. So watercolours, and mainly watercolours actually, but it's using the natural world as inspiration, so you might like to check that one out. And then also on Patreon I have Saturday Sketchbook, so every Saturday I do a prompt, and I also have some creative writing courses on there. So for one fee, I've kept it as low as I possibly can for the month. You get everything you want. But if you don't want to subscribe and you just want to buy one individual course, you can do that as well. But there's lots of free stuff on there. So I've tried to make this accessible, and I think I've succeeded. Well, let me know. Let me know what you think if you are already a member of my Patreon. Let me know how it's all going. I would really genuinely love your feedback, because as I say, although I have been a teacher for a very long time, this kind of online world, I've had to do a lot of learning. I really have, because whoa, yes, it's a whole new world, isn't it? But how wonderful it is that we can connect with people all over the world. And I love the fact that we can be on different continents and we can be enjoying the creative process. So as you see, I'm just sort of playing around with these. All the links are in the description if you want to join the Facebook groups or come over and join me on Patreon. So I'm just sort of playing with some more ideas. Like the orange on top of the purple will need a few coats. I like the dots and I like the circles. So I'm doing a little bit more on this. Just doodling. I am just doodling. That's the thing. And there is pleasure in taking off the pressure and just allowing yourself to doodle. But let's just put some, perhaps a spiral, a little light spiral and some dots. Like that. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit more on that. Most of the things in my sketchbook are not finished because they are just ideas. And some of these ideas I will develop and they will turn into larger sketches or paintings, and others they will just stay in my sketchbook and I can then refer back to them if I need another idea. And I do that a lot. So I would encourage you to work in a sketchbook. I encourage all of my students to work in sketchbooks. That it's absolutely vital that you keep a track of what you've done if you want to get any good. And a sketchbook is the easiest way to do that, or a folder. If you've got loose pages in a folder, that can work as well. But for me, like this sketchbook, I'll show you. I'll do a little journey through my sketchbook. I started this in June 2026. I started off with doing some collage. Some of you will have seen my collage tutorials. The cat ones were quite fun. And then a bit of art journaling in watercolour. Some abstract watercolour with metallics. That was fun. Some more art journal watercolours. And bits of crazy doodling with marker pens. Another one there. I've got a few others that are going to be stuck into there. Another art journaling page. This is from a couple of weeks ago. And then this was fun. This was great fun. I have a whole tutorial on this one, and this one is not finished. My ladies going into the beach, but haven't finished that yet. I will come back to that one, I think. And with flowers and more flowers and flowers and dragonflies. And then into this one. So it's very eclectic. My sketchbook will have lots of different ideas and they won't be joined together, unlike my journals that will have a theme. Did a whole tutorial on the difference between art journals and sketchbooks that you might like to check out. Anyway, I'm going to spend a few more moments playing with these and we'll have a look at them at the end. I've been playing around with a little bit more on this and I thought I would just add a little bit of black and white. So with the black, I've just gone around some of the shapes, like these little blobs. That can work quite well. I was thinking of going over these with yellow again, but I thought, no, let's just have them as they are, because they've turned into sort of a mustard colour, which is fine. And then we can kind of join some of these up. A kind of lattice pattern. That could be fun. Little doodles like this. All sorts of things. And you could do more mark making. Let's do some mark making with white. My favourite white and black markers are with Drawlish. Sadly, they don't sponsor me, but I can put a link below for you. Perhaps they will. That would be nice. I like using white in my work for sort of decorative stuff and patterns, and finding a good fine liner, white fine liner, is quite tricky. So if you find a good one, then remember where you got it from. I'm just sort of adding some little decorative dots on some of these, and you can see that the composition now is taking shape. And what I'm doing here is getting some ideas together that I might then use in a painting. And this is how my art practice works. I start off in my sketchbook with some ideas, then I develop some of these ideas, and then I develop them a little bit more, and then I change them and try different things, and then I go to the canvas or the watercolour paper, depending on what I'm doing. So I've just finished a couple of pieces for our local village show. I'll put those in the community posts and on the Facebook groups because they're quite fun. You will see I don't take myself too seriously. For me, making art, creating art is a joyful process. When I was at college and when I was doing my masters, it's all very serious stuff. But not anymore. Now it's about celebrating colour, the natural world, just life in general, and that kind of thing. And I think that's kind of like the signature of my work over the last 10 years. I think I can safely say I haven't done anything particularly serious for about 10 years. And that's how it is. It's all good. So you can see, putting little white dots can have a really nice effect, can't it? It changes, things change. Don't be afraid of the messy stage. I say this in every single tutorial because it is so important that you don't give up at the messy stage. If you think you're in the messy stage, you probably are, and you have to say to yourself, what would Cate do? She would tell me that I need to work through it because I'm in the messy stage. And that's what you do. Oh dear, as always, I would absolutely love to know your thoughts. And if you have got this far and you haven't liked or subscribed yet, that would be really nice. There we go. I love to know what you're up to, what you're doing, and what the weather's doing, of course. Let's just do a few little white wiggly lines on here. I'm probably going to leave it like that. Oh no, I did want to do a bit more on this one, didn't I? Because this was not finished. Right, let's think about what I'm going to do with this. Right, I'm just going to make myself a cup of coffee, and then I'm going to come back to this one. So, just had a few ideas of what I'm going to do with this one. It's just, camera's gone a bit squiffy. Not quite sure what's going on there. Right, I think I'm going to add some white, giving it a good shake. I like this spiral, but I think that the pale green was just a little bit too pale, and I'm just going to add some dots, that kind of thing. I think that's fun. As always, as I keep saying, just play with an idea. If you have that kind of what if moment, just give it a go and see what happens. That's where exciting things can genuinely happen. Right, let's do some shapes on here. So I am going to need to do a couple of coats of these, sort of large dots like that. Different sorts of mark making. It's always good fun to do. Now I've lost the lid. Where's that gone? Oh, here we go. That's always getting into the habit of putting the lid back on. It's always a good thing. But you can add, with mark making, some people get a little bit kind of confused and say, what do you actually mean? It is literally what it says. It's putting a mark So it could be like I'm doing here, just some dashes. It could be dots. It could be kind of like cross hatching or crosses. All of these are different sorts of mark making, and they can create some really interesting texture. So we have texture is one of the formal elements. There we go. And I have done a tutorial on the formal elements, I think, but I think that was quite a long time ago. Let me know if you would like a tutorial on the formal elements in art and how you can use them in your own practice. Let me know and I can put that together. Just putting little bits of lilac on top of the pink. Bringing those ideas together. And then I can go in with black, and I can do other sorts of marks, or I can just sort of go around some of these circles. I could do circles on their own. You see that it just kind of creates quite an interesting background. It's a bit like bubbles, those sorts of things. Just a few more down there. So this is coming together. So where I've got these dashes here, I could do other dashes in between, the thinner fine liner, and I could do some more crosses like that. And all of these will kind of add to the patterns that are going on this. I'm going to do a little bit more on that. Let's just go to these, because there's some interesting stuff going on here, but I want to do some, I think I'll do some zigzag on here. You might have your own favourite patterns and you could put those in. But all of the patterns are just made up of shapes. It's not really that complicated. I think this is why I love teaching children as well, especially very young children, because they'll just come up with all sorts of crazy ideas and they have no kind of preconceived ideas of what's right and wrong. And I think we can lose that a little bit as we get older, which is a bit sad, isn't it? So those of you who have children or grandchildren, you can learn so much from them. Just doing a few whirly bits, connecting those. I say, don't worry about kind of things going wrong, because in your sketchbook, when we allow things to go wrong, we can learn from that. Well, that's the idea anyway. Say, yeah, those two colours didn't really go very well together, or that idea really didn't work. And that's how human beings learn. That's what we do. Ooh. I was going to do a few more little marks, and then we'll finish off. And we can just enjoy the process. Quite like these sort of like contour lines going over the top. Might be a little bit too much. Probably is a little bit too much. Let's do like a spiral, a few spirals. I do like spirals. You can just keep adding different ideas, dots and dashes, and just see where this little adventure takes us. So I did a few more bits on these ones, a few little marks, a few more marks, and then on these. I'm liking some of this colour combination, so I know that I'm going to be developing some of these a little bit further and turn them into perhaps larger paintings for a collection later in the year. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one and that you've got lots of ideas for your art journal, for your sketchbook, or perhaps for a larger painting. If you haven't liked and subscribed, that would be really lovely. And if you want to see some more, look at this one up here, because I think you're going to like it. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.